That's the drawback. But what is your life worth?
Right. It's and the long term, of the expense is going to be very significant. If you're going to be spending money on alternative care and you have a good physician, then that money will last, and the long term benefits will be very, very great.
Best money you ever spent.
Right.
Best money you ever spent.
And there are currently that Dr. Pizzorno, he's the founder of Bastyr University, and he was on the board of Medicare. So I'm not sure if he's still on it or not, but he's definitely a very strong powerhouse in maintaining the power of the naturopathic field and trying to integrate medicine everywhere. So he's doing a lot for us with that area. And you made a really good point too. When doctors say they can't help you, that should be a massive green light, and it should just basically all that means is that their two tools, which are drugs and surgery, are not going to help you. It's either too dangerous to do the surgery or the drugs won't work for you. And drugs won't work for you, so why not, have numerous other options? There's countless. I mean, the tool bags that, the acupuncturists have or naturopathic physicians have or osteopaths have or orthomolecular medicine or functional medicine. I mean, it's just astounding. Mm-hmm. So,
as I said, whatever's wrong with you, somebody somewhere is treating it successfully.
Right.
Probably non-allopathically. So you have to reach out and find who can do that. And if you're dealing with a physician, a naturopath like yourself, and you may refer them to a modality that is alien to your patient, but yet you have very good information that it works very well, and I think it's your duty to introduce them to it. Notwithstanding the fact that they may have to reach into their pocket to, access it. That's the bad part about it. So.
Right.
But what is your life worth? And so, the beat goes on with that. But don't despair if you're given a death sentence. I see so many people suffering from diabetes 2 that we know in 2 or 3 weeks you can. Well, I'm sure you do. You can take care of certain ailments and that plague people that doctors continually treat with drugs and then drugs to combat the effects of the drugs they gave you, and so on and so forth, until your body gives out. There's just no way to go with it. Whereas if you could get to the root cause and stop it and get an effective treatment that improves your symptoms and clinically you improve, that's where you want to be. If it's allopathic, fine, not likely. But if it's alternative or holistic, that's where you want to be. And I think it's a message of hope, and people should embrace that and think about that, when they think they're at the end of the road with their allopathic physicians. So.
Yeah, and prevent the end of the road as well with alternative medicine. Yeah. So as much as possible. So.
You are certainly preaching to the choir with me, Doctor.
Yep.
That's the way I feel about it.
Yep.
And I've lived that life. Supplements have been my life for the last 25, 30 years. So I know a little about it. I've seen some good stuff and some bad stuff. And the big problem is Big Brother. They don't want us to sell you supplements that work. In fact, the worst thing that can happen to you if you're in a supplement business is to produce a product that really does work, because you're going to have all kinds of problems.
That's right.
You're going to disturb the giant rice bowl that is Big Pharma, and they don't want you taking any of those particles of rice out of that bowl, and they'll do anything to prevent that happening. The safest substance on earth is vitamin C. There is no known toxicity to it. And to restrict people from producing it and putting it in intravenously, it's just amazing. And I don't know what more to say on that subject, except it's a big, long fight, and we're going to keep up the fight as long as we can.
Yeah, and part of the problem is Big Pharma has not had any decent victories in terms of creating new drugs, and a lot of their patents are running out, so they're becoming even more frothy at the mouth.
I tell this story. This happened. This was in the late '80s. I was partnered with an allopathic physician, and we produced a weight loss product. And a brilliant guy. He was an internist and a gastroenterologist and also pathologist. He was triple boarded. Very brilliant guy. had a PhD in pharmacology. Anyway, he had a lot of friends who were MDs who also thought a little beyond the pale, a little beyond the line that most doctors won't cross. And we were sitting around, happened to be in Las Vegas at a convention, and the subject came up about cures. Now here I'm with 5 MDs, and the question was posed, well, what have you guys cured in the last 10, tell me what you've cured lately.
Mm-hmm.
And they sat around looking at each other perplexed, and they said, wow. And you know what they came up with as their only cure in the last, period of time was athlete's foot.
Nice.
We can cure athlete's foot. Everybody was uproarious, laughing, and it was a big joke. Well, I always remember that, and I said, that's really not so funny, They cure nothing. They heal, basically heal nothing.
Yeah, and that an athlete's foot.
Everything.
Yeah, an athlete's foot will just come right back if the environment is not opportune, right?
But you can cure it.
Yeah.
So that was a big joke, and here's doctors whose life is dedicating to healing the sick. Anyway, that's the state of affairs, today. So if you can help somebody with what you're doing, boy, keep at it. Don't let them, grind you down. Are you taking any steam or heat from the government on what you're doing? Or are you doing anything questionable in their eyes, or what?
Well, being a naturopath is always being questionable, right?
Yes.
So, back in the day, when Joe Pizzorno and Michael Murray graduated from the schools, or early schools, they were under fire all the time. But, it's when you open your mouth and you're against the main schemes out there, then you're always under fire. And I'm not completely under fire yet because I haven't pulled the trigger on what I'm wanting to do passionately, and I'm very, very passionate about pregnancy and toxicity of the newborn. So, and actually in utero, in epigenetics. So, I think if one can really point out the facts that the woman is exposed to environmental toxins and lack of nutrients, and her RDA of iodine is not enough, and and they're so restrictive.
Mm-hmm.
They're so restrictive in what a pregnant woman can get, yet the research showing of these very safe nutrients like vitamin C, the doses are really low, so you can't really protect the fetus during development. So I'm really trying to work on a prenatal formulation right now, and I've got it formulated, but I kid you not, finding a manufacturer that is pure enough to use the nutrients that I want is damn near impossible. So, and they're really touchy about it. It's like, well, you can't use active folic acid. Well, why can't you use active folic acid? Exactly. And it's, folic acid is extremely important in development of babies. So I have found some manufacturers that will do that. But then I wanted to use another form of a nutrient, and they said, well, you can't do that. And I said, well, why not? The toxicity is fine, the research is fine. Here's the research, and here's research showing that it reduces this.
First of all, I don't understand why it's their part to criticize your formula one way or the other.
Insurance.
If their business is formulating, that's an issue, insurance. But if you're requesting a formulation of legally accessible products, that are legal or on the GRAS list of the FDA, they should have no problem with whipping you up a batch, or batches as you see fit.
Yeah.
What is the main objection? What liability do they feel they're going to incur? What substance is questionable? If you want to tell me, I don't have to.
Yeah, I'll tell you probably off the call. It's pretty proprietary formulation,
yeah.
But
how many ingredients are involved, Doctor?
Well, it's just a standard multivitamin for a pregnant woman, but then there's probably 6 or 7 specialty nutrients in there, which are...
looking for what, a tablet or a capsule?
Capsule. I really wanted a powder, but making it taste good would be very hard.
Yeah. Well, that should be pretty easy to accomplish, I would think. I'm surprised you're having that much trouble, because I don't know what what the substances are. But
well, it's not crack or cocaine, so...
Well, no, that's illegal. But
yeah.
I presume everything is absolutely legal.
It's researched. I've got everything, and I use EndNote, and I have about 300, 400 abstracts pulled together. So It's,
yeah, and you get a compounding pharmacy that makes you up a small batch.
Yeah, I need to be a bit more proactive
It's
on
very
it.
expensive, but you know.
Right.
Have you tested it? Do you know what makes you think it's going to work? I mean,
What makes me think it's going to work is just reading the research and seeing it work on past mothers for certain areas, certain conditions, such as, like autistic kids,
yeah.
and it's interesting to find that one of the highest, rate of autistic kids is in the wealthier districts like Beverly Hills or Hollywood. And, I was not aware of that. And when I found that out, it's like, wow, that's pretty interesting. So addictions is also a major thing for me, depression and anxiety, because those things are very, very easily treated with standard nutrient therapy and dietary changes, just small changes.
Don't tell that to a clinical psychiatrist, doctor,
Ah.
because they've got hundreds of potions and drugs for you to take.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I had a buddy of mine who was diagnosed schizophrenic, bipolar, paranoid, and the diagnosis was changing constantly. And he was in the loony bin to be there the rest of his life. And his wife finally came up to me, who does not believe in alternative medicine at all. And she called me up being desperate and said he's just about to swallow this pill and it will affect him long term, mentally and physically. So I don't really want him to take it. His parents wanted him to take it because he was seeing Dick Cheney in a helicopter flying above our freeway down here in Bellevue, and there was no helicopter in sight to the normal eye. So this guy was really off his rocker. And so I ordered a laboratory test, and I found that his CoQ10 levels were extremely low. I mean, low to the point of death. And I talked to the laboratory, and I said, have you guys ever seen CoQ10 levels this low before? And they said, no, we've been testing for, over a decade, and we've never seen it this low. And his reactions to certain foods were extremely high, casein being one. So we eliminated all the casein. We amped up put him on 5 grams of CoQ10 a day, and fish oils and B vitamins and vitamin C's and, all these other nutrients. And no shit.
He probably recovered
3 weeks. 3 weeks.
Yeah.
His lithium had to be tapered down. I talked to a psychiatrist and I said, you're going to have to taper his meds. He had lost his job. He's back now working for the company where he lost his position, which is pretty high level. He's back working again. He's doing well. So pretty amazing. So I'm really passionate about these things.
I dare say there are thousands and thousands of people stuck in that quagmire of being killed with allopathic medicine, slowly but surely.
Yep. Yeah.
Mask the symptoms. That seems to be their mantra. Let's get rid of the symptoms. And if the drugs we're giving to get rid of the symptoms cause symptoms, let's give them drugs to take care of that. And nutrition never occurs to them, and mineralization never occurs to them.
Right. I mean, imagine if you walked in and you put everybody in a nursing home on lypospheric vitamin C or vitamin D3, what the changes would be.
Yeah, they'd probably empty out. They'd have to make it sooner or later.
Exactly. And I always thought if I walked into a mental institution and if I did specific laboratory testing and replaced the missing deficient nutrients, what would happen?
Well, you'd probably end up in jail. They'd find some trumped-up charge to incarcerate you. I'm pretty sure they would.
Yep.
You cannot mess with their rice bowl, doctor. I mean, they just will not let you do that. Allopathic medicine has a stranglehold on Western civilization, and that's not going to end in our lifetime. You can make inroads, but I don't think it's ever going to end. As long as they have the most powerful lobbies in the various governments, that make laws to protect them, that's going to go on forever and ever, and you have to find some way around it, And,
it's got to get to the grassroots, I think. I think you really got it. I mean, YouTube and Facebook are great. Twitter I think these things are becoming extremely powerful tools. And I think if somebody knows how to unite people in ways such as that, then Big Brother will eventually come crashing down. And